Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Captain's Academy. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Phoenix Starworks Prowler and learn how to upgrade it. The Prowler is the successor to the Cataphract, which was a medium tank designed to fit a number of weapons, systems upgrades, and all of that in a compact form, which could fit on a lot of the smaller CVs. Here with the Prowler, we haven't deviated too much from that. There's a little bit of dimension growth here on the edge, but otherwise, for the most part, it's the same thing. So we should be expecting some of the same performance out of this that we have achieved in the Cataphract. However, there were a number of improvements, including a little bit cargo and a substantial up-armoring to the whole build overall. Much of it towards the front, but also some additions, again, with the side skirt here. This is a armor addition, protecting the flank. Essentially eliminated most of the just hardened steel and went to combat. A lot of the basic steel got upgraded as well, so now what we have is a more robust and resilient platform, and also additional compartment space that can be utilized for upgrades and whatnot. Now, taking a look at the interior, you can see that we have a couple of compartments here where before we didn't have access to anything. So we could have a number of things here, from generators to additional CPU potentially, if we've run out of space here in our turret, which can also be utilized. But also we can grow the ammo container from here as well. On the opposite side, we have the device house, and this is going to be for the shield as well as any sort of shield extenders. And also here, we can grow our harvest container by connecting to the H and expanding out for any vanilla players. Could utilize both of these systems to expand that, since there's a limited number of devices. So something I want to go over here is the turret here. This is accessible. Now, ideally for like Reforged Eden and Reforged Eden 2, this is a good place for CPU, but also for vanilla, you'd want to put your CPU here as well, your last four. And once that's completed for vanilla players, you fill that up. You can expand the ammo here as well, utilizing any one of these placements that isn't the gray color. This is just steel blocks, but everything else here is container. So if you want to expand your ammo, you can do that. Now, in order to access the compartment, it's kind of hard. It'd be ridiculous trying to jump up there. So the system I'll come up with here is you want to crouch here at either of these two spots, and then this will allow you to spawn the drone in. And now it'll be easier to place the devices inside of the turret. I'll leave a little reminder here for you right by the exit. So let's look at doing that. So it's going to be spawning in. Let's see, take a look at our core. Should be core 4. And so that's going to leave us with a basic and 2 improved installed. So for our RE2, let's take a look at our options here. Again, we want to spawn our drone up. And I've designated a placement here for the CPU, so these will be the quantums, the 6s. So I'll go ahead and place that, and just like that. And this little spot here, this is going to be for the superiors. And also this spot right here, so you're going to have to duck out. And then this last little section here, this is going to be for your advanced, and should be able to set that up in the corner like so. Now the only thing we have left to place is the basic, our last basic, so that's a spot there. And this here, what you want to do with this box, that's entirely up to you. Could be an extra fridge if you so like. So now we have just the one advanced CPU left to place, and my designated spot for that is right here. So I just want to go ahead and remove these 3 blocks and slot that in a vertical orientation, and you're good to go. All right, moving on. Taking a look at these 2 compartments. So we can expand the cargo if we want to expand the harvest. What we would do is just connect to this box, and you can determine to fill this up however you so choose. I'd say leave this out, and we'll come back to this here in a second. Same thing for the opposite side over here. Connecting to the A, this will expand your ammunition and expand to your heart's content once you've utilized these compartments here. So this will be for our generator placement. Reforged Eden 2, you can fit, let's say 4 or so. I think you can fit the maximum count of fusion, actually. There isn't one, apparently. Okay, so 1 should be sufficient for the tank, depending on what you're stowing outdoors, whether it's tier 2 weapons and how many you have and the like, how much your thrusters are upgraded and all that sort of thing. But for the most part, this should be good right here. And once you have that placed, I would recommend a number of things. Could be some shield extenders, or maybe just go ahead and mix and match with some ammo. It's entirely up to you. So that's the power. Let's take a look at our shield extenders. First thing is obviously our shield placement. So I have this cut out right here. This is going to be along the back wall. That's what the SH is for. That's the placement there. Take note again, we already have our pin taxed, so that's not something we need to be concerned with. So now we could just move on to shield extenders. Quite simply, probably want to spawn in these bigger parts first. Something like that, and maybe we want to get these guys here like that, and one of the small ones, so just go ahead and stand that up. And of course, again, once we've used the LCDs here, we can remove these and place a couple of them here. Probably want to go at some of the smaller ones so it doesn't burn you up too much, or maybe you probably won't even need to do that because you just have the one fusion, and you can fill up the rest of this area with your shield parts. So maybe something like this. Okay, that's our cap there for those. Something like that. Okay, well, that's all of them. That's all the shield parts. Perfect fit. Unless you want to expand on your cargo and stuff. Alright, so that is the interior. One thing I want to point out, though, is that with the detector here, that's going to be something, if you intend on doing like a radar or something, you go ahead and take that out, and I recommend putting a block there. CPUs here, the core, if you want to move that somewhere else, entirely up to you. Oxygen station and armor locker there, and right out here we have our first aid station, our Wi-Fi that can be upgraded. I wanted to leave that accessible, and our constructor. So that's pretty much all of our internal systems. We're going to take a look at our weapons. Grab a small turret here. Alright, so we want to be looking for the dots here for our turret placement. So that'd be a center point right there. Let's actually go ahead and get a symmetry plate on. So that way we can easily monitor our count. Okay, here we go. So there's one. This dot right here. So if we're at our light cap, so maybe we want it to move to like some medium lasers or something. Reforged players, this wouldn't be an issue. So we could do like that. And another placement right there. So, for vanilla players, I do believe we have a bigger cap as well. Same thing for Reforged 1. So, we do have a mount back here. if we want to do some additional drone defense or something like that. Yeah, so that's a placement. Now, we could also stack some artillery here, just like that, and that should be able to shoot over this little smaller turret right there. Should have a line of sight, no issues. So that's pretty robust, pretty sick. Now, taking a look at our weapons. Couple options. Now, if we want to do like the main cannon armament, we just go ahead and take these out. It's one of my preferred setups right there, using the dual cannons. But that's not for everybody. Some people like the bird, the spinny spins, the Vulcans. That's a lot of love for some people. So we do have an optional placement here if we want to do double Vulcans. Just go ahead and take these blocks out. Push back to the X's. And that's a configuration right there. Looks pretty good. So that would hit your cap for the heavy weapons, and so maybe you'd want to use like some mediums here for something else. One thing to note is this build has it wants to take advantage of these little mouse ears, if you want to call them that. Ideally, one of the preferred setups here is to place lasers, since this is going to be your highest point, right? So now you'll be able to crest over terrain and stuff like that. The only thing that's going to be exposed is your top weapon, which should be lasers. So you could do some sort of hold down situation where the only thing that's going to be getting damaged should be this line here. If even that. Maybe even the enemy turrets won't even hit those, or perhaps won't target them. So take advantage of lasers on this high point, or any other weapon that's going to do like shield damage, plasmas, that sort of thing, maybe infrared or something like that, and then hide the rest of the build behind some terrain, and might be able to get away with some situations where you think you'd get hit, and maybe you're not getting hit by return fire. So definitely configuration. Now we also do have the rest of the box here, so maybe we just want to go for 4 lasers and jump in front of the base and trade out. That's an option. Whatever you so choose. Now, last thing is the thruster upgrades. So we have a number of options here, mainly dealing with the mediums. That'll be for Reforged Eden 1 and 2 and vanilla. So what we're going to be looking for is, let's go ahead and start with strafe. We'll go ahead and take this deco off. And this block here, go ahead and take the thrusters out. And this is going to be our stopping point, so we don't want to go past that. Same thing here. Alright, so that'll be our forward thrust taken. And now, reverse. Same situation here. Let's go ahead and take these bottom blocks out. We want to leave these 45 degrees slanted because that's going to contribute as armor. And just go ahead and flip these around. And there it is. So now we've got all of our mediums. But we do have some supplemental here up at the front. Could be like some advanced if you want to swap these out. Get these out of here, or maybe just want to do, if you're reforging 2 players, maybe you just want to do like some plasmas or something, just to give it a little bit more beef. That's entirely up to you. And that would be our thruster upgrade option. So one thing we want to do, if we don't want to utilize the this back area here for a turret, that would be a pretty good spot for, say, like a radar or something. Get rid of our detector there. Boom, there it is. It's very bright. Change that. There we go. It blends in nice. Oh yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, folks. Next thing we want to take a look at is our harvester blade and our bulldozer. So with the bulldozer for Reforged and 2 players, a nice simple connection would be something like that for a single one, and if we wanted to do a double, could do that. But if you do the one on top, keep in mind that's going to block the first person perspective. Now for the harvester blade, Reforged 1 and Reforged, I'm sorry, Reforged 1 and vanilla players. So we could just clean off these 45-degree blocks there just like that, and maybe it look like that. Not too bad. Could remove the bottom as well if we want to double up. So something like that. Yeah, there it is. That's that. And now, very last thing we want to take a look at is our color change. So, once we have our color tool, go ahead and hop into the tank, take a look at any number of these color configurations. So we're going to have a couple here to start on the tank itself, and again, all 10 of them are going to be located on the workshop post, so refer to that. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight all this numerical value here, and then we're going to hit Control-C. So now we've copied. Now, while looking at the build, we're going to go ahead and right-click when we have our texture and color tool out. And we're going to hit Configure here. Now, at the top left, hold down Shift and left-click on the bottom right corner. Then we're going to hit Paste. And now we want to lock our color in by hitting OK. And there it is, just like that. We've changed our color. Look really good. All the colors look good on this thing, man. I love it. And hopefully you love it too. Let me know your thoughts on it. Leave some comments, leave a like, and look forward to the next video. Captain's Academy. This has been the Prowler. I'm your host, LyfeForce. Until next time, LyfeForce out. Hey folks, if you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a patron today. As a patron, you gain access to exclusive builds not featured on the workshop, early access builds, as well as participate in a number of things, including polls, feedback, comments, suggestions, ideas, or anything you'd like to submit to current and future builds. If any of this appeals to you, please consider becoming a patron today. Link in the pinned comment below. Thank you.